Is in session. Skipping over chair remarks, if I can have the approval of the minutes, please. Thank you. There being no objections, that motion stands approved. All right, if I may please skip to over our first discussion and proceed to line item number 2, which is petition number 346, the Carpet House Blues. There's a lot of people here for that. I would like to take that up first, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Ms. Carr is with us. Can you please join us at the table? All right, this is petition number 346, request to hold John Carpet's House Jam outdoors from May to September from 3 to 9 p.m. There's been several issues and ongoing conversation in regards to this event. Ms. Carr, you submitted a report to council, an investigation that was done on the event. Can you just explain to us what you found per that investigation?
Well, basically, the long and short was, based upon the actual permit application that was submitted, there were some things that were still taking place that were not included on Mr. Barrow's application. For example, he stated that there would be no vending. There were individuals out there who were actually selling food and other items. So the business license division had gone out and they ticketed those individuals who were actually moving forward with doing sales, and they were not licensed to actually do those sales. There was some street closure that was done, and that was based upon vehicles that were parked along Frederick that were blocking the street. I believe there was an ice cream truck specifically that was blocking that thoroughfare, and that was based upon DPW's investigation and them going out there. So those were just some items that are at the forefront of, of the investigation. But the overall is, if the application reflects what is being done at that location, that is what the expectation is that those actual petitioners do. So if Mr. Barrow were to have corrected all of those items, we would not have had those problems. But they continued, and that is why business license was back out there on, more than one occasion to deal with those issues.
Okay, and the conversation that keeps coming up is that some of the property is privately owned and that it's Mr. Barrow's private property. Mm-hmm. So is the ticketing going on his property, or is it going on in the surrounding areas, the vending that's happening on the surrounding areas?
It has been done both on his property, I believe, and across the street. But when you open this up to the public, mm-hmm. and you aren't adhering to the departmental approvals or the regulations, that is the issue. Is when the petitioner signs the actual application, it's stating that they will adhere to all city rules and regulations based upon the various departments. So it's not just a backyard party, but if you're selling items to the general public, that is when you have to adhere to, let's say, what health department has in place as far as regulations are concerned.
And you're saying that selling is going on his privately owned property?
Right, and that is my understanding, okay, how it initially started. Okay. And then I believe that because those individuals were ticketed, they may have moved across the street, but it still lies the issue that they have not gotten a license, right, to do so.
Okay.
Yeah.
On that point, Councilmember Tate.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, and I'm not as familiar in terms of the tickets. Did Mr. Barrow and his group, did they receive tickets for?
I believe Mr. Barrow did receive a ticket.
So received citations, mm-hmm. for the vending that took place on the property, but not for the vending that's taking place outside of the property.
The individuals who are actually doing the selling, right, were ticketed.
So those, he did, right, not receive any citations for those who are vending outside of his property?
No, his tickets were for something different.
Okay.
Because he does not have an approved petition.
Because I was just saying, because this is the
right,
first time I'm actually hearing about actual
right,
citations.
Last time,
right,
he didn't have any.
No,
right,
right,
it was just
right,
warnings.
Right.
But based upon what I have submitted to you, and I actually have copies of those here in front of me, they had issued violations.
Okay.
Yes.
So what are the tickets that Mr. Barrow is getting?
Barrow's ticket is specifically for no person shall conduct a concert cafe without a valid license, and that is through the business license division.
And you guys are classifying it as a concert cafe?
That is
Okay.
what business license, yes, classifies that as, because it is open to the public. Yes,
Because it is open to the.
exactly.
Okay. Did you have any questions or comments, Councilmember Smith?
No.
Okay. So, anything else that you want to say, Ms. Carr? I mean, this has been going on for a while now. I've
Right.
had some discussions offline with Corporation Counsel.
Right.
Everyone seems like they're willing to work with Mr. Barrow and want to see this event continue. And at this point, I think we're going to take some of this kind of offline so I can nail it out a little bit more.
Right.
And I think that there was some conversation with Mr. Barrow and Corporation Counsel too to try to get this thing together.
And I think overall, the departments are willing to
Right.
work with him, but if you keep moving forward, knowing that this is the situation that exists, and if your application states one thing, but you continue to do something else, that's the issue that the departments are having.
Okay.
Yeah,
Councilmember.
Ms. Carter, can you explain the concert cafe? I know Mr. Beer owns several lots, so it's almost a whole block.
Right.
So technically, it's private property. If a neighbor has a side lot that the mayor wants us to give him, and they have a concert, would that be, not a concert, but have a DJ or band on their lot, would that be considered a concert cafe if they just have it and folks just start walking over?
If they just walk over, that's a different situation because they haven't gone through the process. It's almost kind of like you happenstance that you come across something.
Okay.
But with you going through the process and actually signing the application, that more or less makes you responsible for all the rules and regulations that apply to the various departments.
Mr. Beer just received one ticket, just the one ticket
That is,
violated
based
concert
upon
cafe.
what I've seen. He has the one ticket.
Then the cafe was the selling of, or the vending of items on his personal property. That's the cafe.
Right, I
portion of
believe
it.
that is how it is set up through business license,
Okay,
yes.
okay, all right. One more, Madam Chair, if it continues, does the ticket violations escalate to something else? Would it escalate to,
I believe if the
arrest,
number of
property
tickets
seizure?
show cause, I believe where he would have to go to court.
okay,
And they would work through the issue
okay,
that way,
okay.
yes.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, and thank you for coming, Ms. Carr.
Not
If
a problem.
Do you mind staying here at the table? We can open up to public comment and just allow 2 minutes for those who are here on public comment.
Okay.
And then we're gonna close this out, and then we're gonna bring it back, in 30 days to get a report and update on what has happened between now and, 30 days. I know, Mr. Barrow, you're here, you could step to the mic here. No, we're gonna allow you to step to the mic for 2 minutes, and then I know it's a lot of people here to speak on the issue. That's okay.
First of all, I got 6 tickets. Second of all, what is an event? Third, these tickets that were issued to these individuals were not issued on my property, period. Now, I'm listening to everything she say. A lot of stuff what she say is inaccurate because when you start dealing with where I am at and what's across the street, it's 2 different things. And the reason these people are out there is because we doing what we're doing, but yet and still, I'm not responsible for them. If you got 1,000 people out there and they parked every which way, it's up to the police, give them a ticket. If they're doing something out there they ain't supposed to be doing, give them a ticket, do your job. But as far as I'm concerned, whatever I'm doing on my property is legit. Now, I heard everything that she said, but yet and still, you have to define where is this stuff taking place at. One of the guys was over on the corner of DuBois. You know, that's not me. Another guy was right there on the corner of St. Albans. That's not me. You know, so we have to put this here, put everything in place as to what's happening and where it's happening at. Ain't none of this happening on my property. We're not selling no liquor, none of that. Plus, this event is free. When you use the word event, here's what event means in case they don't know. It's like if you're having a concert, what she calls it, you charging, you're paying people to do everything. This is all part of a concert. We're not doing none of that. Everything we do is free. And that's the key word, free.
Thank you, Mr. Barrow. Is Terry Harvey here for public comment? No, is there anyone else here for public comment in regards to this petition? John Carpenter's house? No? Okay, thank you, Mr. Barrow, and thank you, Ms. Carr, for coming.
Thank you.
And again, your time is up, thank you. Did you have anything else to say, Ms.?
No.
Okay,
Yeah, if you need anything, please reach out to me.
thank you.
Thank
And once
you.
again, just because we're bringing it back, I want to be clear that we are still working with different departments to get this handled and resolved,
Definitely.
so that he can enjoy the remaining weeks and
Right.
then make sure it's set for next year.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we're going to move now to our 1:05 PM discussion, which is for the operation of the Irma L. Henderson Marina. Oh, I'm sorry. Colleagues, may I have a motion to bring line item number 2 back in 30 days? Thank
Chair.
you. All right, we're moving to our discussion now of the Irma Henderson Marina and Riverside Marina. I think ABC Realty is here. Okay, can you please join us at the table, please, in the rec department as well? All right, good afternoon, and can you all state your name and titles for the record, please?
Beverly Alexander, manager, recreation.
Good afternoon, Alicia Mentor, Director, Recreation Department.
Good afternoon, Troy Diener. Troy Diener, ABC.
Ryan McGuire, ABC, CEO.
Thank you. And thank you all for being here today. Just to kind of update you all on why I think we are here at this point today. Originally, there were some comments from the public a while back during public comment in regards to some criminal activity from one of the operators of the marina. And I think that kind of sparked some interest in who's operating the marina, what's going on, updates, and things of that sort. So I think there were a few complaints to my colleague here in regards to the marina and its operations. So we just wanted to bring you to the table to address some concerns that we have. So if Ms. Mentor or whoever from the rec department can give us an update just on the overall contract that the city has with ABC Realty for
All right,
the
thank you,
marinas.
Madam Chair. Recreation entered into a management agreement with ABC Realty in 2012. They took management rights in 2013 to operate both Irma Henderson and Riverside Marina. And through that, they have some revenue that they are to pay through a concession agreement to the department. They're also responsible for capital operations, collection of revenue for boating, slips, storage. They're also responsible for the banquet facility, the rental thereof, of the maintenance of the park that runs coincide Riverside Marina. So they've been operating just a little over 18 months under their current agreement. Dr. Alexander, who is to my right, serves as the manager directly that meets with ABC regularly, monitors the marina, meets with them if there are any issues or concerns, make sure they're compliant with their contract. We did hear concerns as well, in which we addressed immediately with Mr. McGuire, in which he corrected immediately.
Can you speak to some of those?
Well, some of those that we had received from some of the boaters were about some type of activities that were taking place, some parties that they didn't have enough of recreational opportunities for the boaters there. That there was some maintenance issues with, at one point in time, some lighting, that some restroom areas were not cleaned as frequently as they should have been. And Dr. Alexander addressed, I spoke to Mr. McGuire as well, and that was remedied immediately. I had not received any additional complaints. I followed up with the boaters, had not received any complaints of which I received cause relative to that. So whatever issues that were brought to our attention, we immediately addressed with Mr. McGuire directly and ABC, and it was corrected.
What about the actual docks, the boating docks? Because I've seen a few pictures of some of them that don't look to be in the best condition. Is that a part of the agreement to fix those?
At which location, Madam Chair, are you speaking of?
Riverside.
Riverside Marina, well, the boating docks that are there are fiberglass, and that was part of a carryover from the original construction of that marina. So they have, and ABC can speak more to it, but they've done some considerable improvement, but that's a $3 million undertaking to basically redo those particular docks there. So what they've done is improve those that they were able to basically salvage, and they have a plan in order to do some replacement, but I will allow Mr. McGuire, if he wants to address that further.
One of the things that we're planning to do, which is in our last term or whatever of our contract, is to Remy trying to get grants for the Riverside for those fiberglass. As you mentioned, the fiberglass docks that were constructed back a way ago is not really the typical industry standard. So basically what happens is they get soft over a period of time from the heating and cooling of the docks and become unstable. So what we did was, when we took over the property, we basically condemned those docks that were in disrepair and salvaged the ones that we were able to fix. And we use those, we operate those currently now, but the ones that are in disrepair are shut down. I do have some things I can pass out to you guys, and some of the accomplishments that we made over in the last 2 years, less than 2 years, and I'm going to get that to you.
Thank you. Have you all had the opportunity to begin partnering with some of the local schools for the, to implement marine curriculum teaching?
Yes, we have. We started a vocational nonprofit organization. We have reached out to different schools into these in regards to that, and that's an ongoing process.
Okay. Another one of the concerns that I had heard was the gas station or the fueling area was not working all boating season. Is that something that you all were able to address?
Well, one of the things that, and if you notice too, I mean, if I can educate you on in the marina business in regards to fuel docks. A lot of the typical, I say, how they operate is you usually subcontract those out to another party. And what happens, just like I can say like King's Marina, they subcontract that out to a different vendor. And we were going to take that same model in beginning stages, and but what happened was it fell through with two of the people we were going to select, and that didn't go forward. So what we're looking to do is to, since it's late season, the season we only have like 2 months left. We're planning to go full-fledged and open up the fuel dock for the next boating season.
Okay. Councilmember Leland, on that point.
So, as it relates to the gassing of boats, do the boaters that currently rent a dock from either of the two marinas have there any opportunity to fuel up at any of those two marinas?
Fuel up.
Fuel up. Yeah, fill their boats with gasoline.
Not at the current marina at Riverside, no, because the fuel dock was not open.
Okay. And Irma Henderson?
Irma Henderson would be fueling up from Riverside because, or wherever they need to go, because Irma Henderson doesn't have a fuel dock.
That's correct, Madam Chair, and to Councilman Leland, Irma Henderson was not designed with a fuel dock.
Okay. Because typically when a marina advertises that it's full service, like I've seen ABC Realty advertise their marinas to be full service. Typically that includes a fueling station. So my question is, how are boaters that dock with you, how are they fueling their boats? I mean,
Well, typically, if you were, say, I'm a boater as well, I fill up at any other fuel station in the area. So that's typically what's going on right now.
okay, so it seems like it would be the purview of your marinas to make sure that no boaters are unlawfully fueling their boats. I mean,
That is true. That's one of our rules.
okay,
We cannot self-fuel their boats.
okay, because I know there are, it is typical practice at times with other marinas, private marinas, for individuals, to throw a big, gas tank on the back of their pickup truck, the same truck that they use to haul their boat into the water and fuel up that way. And I would just, we're a new council, right? And we have a duty, whether or not we're new or not, we obviously have a duty to make sure that, contractors that are doing business, with this city are doing it with the utmost level of professionalism. And within that are lawful. And there are just a few other concerns that I have that, if the chairwoman will indulge me, I would love to address.
Let me first ask my colleagues if they have anything on this issue, any questions or comments. Okay. Go right ahead.
Because, we are doing business with the city through this contract. And it was a bit alarming, I guess, to some extent, that, a person within ABC Realty, had committed fraud and is getting sentenced, in the coming months. From your understanding in the business practices of your partner, who I'm speaking of, ex-partner. No, it didn't seem like any unlawful behavior through the marina was included whatsoever within the pending charges.
It was separate.
Completely separate.
Completely separate.
Okay. If we could go back a few years to how and when your company, ABC Realty, at some point was in contact with the city. I'm reading an article that was posted by MLive, which is a news agency. Back in 2012, it seemed like the Friends of Irma Henderson were opposed to another contractor under that time, under the Bing administration. That contract for $32,000 a year fell short for whatever reason, and you then were in contact with Friends of Irma Henderson, and it seems within this story that ABC took legal action at that time under Jason McGuire, took legal action against the city to accept or to take the contract. And if you could take me back a couple years.
If I may, Madam Chair, because that's not accurate information.
Okay.
And I'll probably ask Dr. Alexander to offer some support, because during some time of 2012, I was in transition as from the director. But there was an initial request for proposal to manage and operate both Irma Henderson and Harbor Hill, which is now Riverside. From that, there was a request for proposal submitted. It was reviewed by the purchasing department, as well as recreation, and there was a valuation through former Councilmember Kwame Kenyatta. There was a request for us to entertain management by the Friends of Irma Henderson during that time. During that time, that did take place, and then there was an additional RFP done, I believe, at least twice after that. And from that, I believe that ABC Realty was trying to work with the Friends of Irma Henderson to develop a partnership in operating that location. From the evaluation by purchasing, review of law, the award was subsequently given to ABC Realty at the end of 2012, in which they received the approved contract and award to proceed with operating the marina in 2013. I believe that was March. If I'm inaccurate, Dr. Alexander can let me know.
You're accurate, and also, during that time, the contract was also awarded to the late Mr. Humes, and council was not pleased about that. And there was some dispute to the condition of the marina, because it was really, really in disrepair, Mr. Hume's Marina. And there was an outcry from the boaters at Irma Henderson. The Friends of Irma Henderson were also displeased with that decision to award the contract to Mr. Hume's. And then an investigation began where they went on site and took a look at the property. And from that, it was decided that the Friends of Irma Henderson, along with our department, would partner and operate it for that season. And we did that. And then the following season, we put out another request for proposal. And at that time, the award was given to ABC.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, and that's, as a follow, that's a pretty traditional process. It's a standard process from what I'm hearing.
To submit the request for proposals and then get them and review them. Yes, correct. Correct.
All right, Councilmember, we have any other questions? If we can kind of just stick to some.
Yeah, as they come up, I'll ask.
Okay. Anything from new colleagues? Councilmember Spivey?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
You all, according to your sheet, you spent $800,000 on repairs on the marina?
That is correct.
It's a lot of money. Ms. Mitchell, what's required in the contract? How much are they required to spend?
Basically, through the chair, they're required to do the majority of capital improvements, so there's not a specific cap amount.
Okay.
They're responsible for all of their capital agenda that is required for them to operate that facility. So there had not been a significant amount of investment in years at Harbor Hill. And again, and also just speaking back to the fueling station, ABC did make efforts to do that because our team, Dr. Alexander, had reviewed their subcontract agreement, and apparently the vendor, would not, whatever issue, it was not secured. So I know they're making compliance to be, to have that available for next season. Okay. But that's where we do the regular monitoring. If there are any issues, to make sure they're compliant with the contract. Whatever repairs or work improvement they're doing, they submit the plan to us for review, make sure that they have necessary permits and authorization to proceed with that work improvement.
Because they are operating on our behalf, the upgrades don't need to come by this table, do they? Or they just run it by DRC to make sure they are proper?
That's correct.
Okay.
Real quick,
And then,
Councilmember Spivey, on that point, is there a time frame for those capital improvements? Like within the first year of the agreement, this has to be done, and within the second year of the agreement, this has to be done?
Yes, through the chair, there was some initial, in the proposal, it required a capital plan, a capital agenda plan on which would be completed within those phases. And again, I would probably defer more to Dr. Alexander to add in if you want detail, but it was the part of the RFP process and what capital needed to be put in place each year to continue the operations.
And those have been met, is what you're saying?
Yes, and probably above that.
And above, okay.
Madam Chair, we broke it down actually into phases because the contract is one 5-year contract with 2 possible 5-year renewals. So the first phase is for the first 5 years. And we bulleted those capital improvements that were needed, and those must be completed within that first 5-year term. And if we could go back just a little bit, the docks, because we talked about the docks were in disrepair when the contractor took it over. All of those who were interested in possibly managing and operating the marina went out and assessed it, and they submitted capital improvement based on what they saw. And because they knew that the fiberglass docks were so expensive and that there were some other things that needed to be done immediately, they decided to put that in the final phase of the actual replacing them. But they have already begun to repair some because that is in the first 5, and that's in the 5-year plan that they're in right now. So they have started those repairs.
Okay.
so,
Yep.
to the court, what's the law, Dr. Alexander? So those docks that are not used, you weren't gonna do them now anyway? You were waiting till the end, the back end of the contract to do it? Okay.
That's correct.
How many docks are we talking that are not
Well,
available?
the marina has about 375, I believe,
Individual slips.
Right, how many slips are not
That's
available?
for slips.
Right.
And 250
I'm not a voter, you gotta help me out.
250 are usable.
Oh, up 375, okay.
Correct.
Okay. And then you also submitted some pictures at the very back. These are the part of the $800,000 improvements you all made?
Correct.
Okay. All right. We're councilmen, we can't afford votes, so.
You said what?
With council members. If I do get one there, maybe y'all still be there, give me a discount on the slip or something. You'll be surprised, you'll be surprised. Thank you, Mr. Alexander, thank you, gentlemen.
Mr. Councilman, a canoe is also considered a boat.
Too small. Thank you, gentlemen.
No problem.
Ladies.
The Audit General, did you have a question?
Yes, I had a comment.
Comment?
Madam Chair.
Okay.
I guess I'll get up and speak real quick.
Yes, please join us.
Yes, Madam Chair, I believe Councilman Spivey was the one that made the original request for an audit, and also Councilman Cushenberry.
Yeah, I think it's good.
So we will have an audit report on this request next week.
Okay.
I have here with me Walter Griggs, and Walter Griggs is the person that's conducting the audit. And so just, it's pretty much wrapped up. We're going to issue it next week, but he can also provide some comment to some things that were said here today. So to give you some more comfort.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, through the chair. I went to both Urban Henderson and Riverside marinas, and ABC has done extensive work with regard to repairs and maintenance of the marinas, as well as I have reviewed their financial statements that they have issued to the Recreation Department. They appear to be in order. There's one small issue, but I'm sure that they will be able to address that. Other than that, I would say that ABC has met the standards as set by the contract at present.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Just for clarity.
Mm-hmm.
I requested the law department
Okay.
to check on the issue that Member Leland brought up about the principals and the legal challenges. I think Pro Tem Cushman requested the audit of the, for you all. I don't want to take credit where I did.
Okay.
You got that. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Mr. Corley, did you do a report as well on something with the finances of the marina as well, too? Did you want to speak to that briefly, please?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, committee members. We did a report that basically supplemented the analytical review from the Auditor General that was conducted a couple of years ago. And we are showing the actual revenues and expenditures for the Irma Henderson Arena. And we're indicating that the city is receiving an operating fee of $22,000 from ABC Realty for Henderson, and $62,000 as an operating fee for the Riverside Marina. And we also indicate in our report that ABC is responsible for the operation costs as well as our capital expenditures. So really nothing to add to what the Auditor General was saying, but
Okay.
we found it to be fine as well.
Okay, thank you. And we'll be looking forward to the report from the Audit General. Colleagues, may I have a motion to discuss line item number 1 as well, please? Thank you. Really quick, Ms. Mentor, can you discuss, please, the White Party? I know a while back I had submitted an email to you in regards to why that particular event did not come to this body. Can you just address what happened with the event at the marina with the White Party?
Well, Madam Chair, there was a direct request from ABC to host an event at the marina, in which within their contract they're able to do that. It went through the request of police review, liquor license review. All of the additional permits were secured to host that event.
Mm-hmm.
But in the past, that type of event hadn't went through City Council,
Mm-hmm.
so that was my error.
Mm-hmm.
But those events on that magnitude will come to council for further review.
Mm-hmm.
But through conversation with Mr. McGuire and that I had with community subsequent, that event most likely will not take place
Mm-hmm.
at the marina any future. endeavors, and if so, then it will definitely be vetted through the council. But it did have permitting from police, additional secondary police. It did have permitting from the liquor license and all of the requirements that needed to be met in order to host the event on site. And they are able to host special events on site, but some of those that are of such magnitude should have came through council's request. But
Okay.
it was approved directly from the department.
So why was that particular event shut down that night? Well,
And I'll let the principals speak to that, but I believe it was probably some noise issue.
Okay.
And then there was some issue with some parking within the residence as well. But I know it had been vetted, and the police department was aware of the event, and I believe that there was secondary police
Okay.
for the event as well. But
Okay.
Mr. McGuire can speak more.
And basically, it was not shut down, it was just limited to how many more people can come on the property. So it wasn't actually shut down.
okay, so at a certain time at midnight, they didn't stop the party at all? Because
About
that's
1:30,
what I was
They
hearing.
didn't stop the party at all.
Okay,
They
so just
limited-
stop letting people in.
They limited admission to the
Okay,
party.
okay,
The promoters had given us a number, and that number was quite higher than that actually came.
okay. So just in the future, you're saying that they can have events, but if it reaches a certain capacity, then it needs to come to this body?
Right, within the contract, they're able to host special events. They have a banquet facility there, so they're able to host special events. And all of their events are basically reviewed and vetted through our department. But once they reach a certain capacity on expected attendance,
Right.
then it will go through the same special event process that
As
we would
any
do
other
any of the other
process.
ones.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Yes, council member.
Thank you. So, visually speaking, I was a little bit concerned that some of the aspects of the room were not being taken care of. After further discussion here, I'm kind of seeing a clearer picture. It sounds like you've made a pretty good investment in an asset here, to the tune of about $800,000. So maybe I guess I'm show some leniency to some extent. To that point, are you able to furnish some receipts to this body showing a little more accurate spending that you've made at the marina?
If I can, Madam Chair?
Yes, Ms.
If I can,
Smith.
I think that would be addressed through the audit. Basically, they have a capital asset
Okay.
that is within their balance sheet of how much they've expended toward a project, and as well as what their revenue. So I think that would all be addressed within that. That's what their requirement is, their financial report to our department. So we would not ask for drilled down receipts on specific items. We know the before and after. We know what the facility looked like prior to the investment. So all that would be captured within that financial report of what monies were invested into that capital agenda.
Okay, thank you.
And to the Auditor General, is that an expectation that can be met?
Through the chair, yes, I believe that what the Sheminter is saying is correct, that the contract that he has provided, the criteria of the contract. So as far as him being audited and going to his books and to that detailed level, I don't believe that is a requirement of the contract. But
Right.
as she has stated, that the facility has been upgraded and that there is evidence, observation that has been updated. That is a reasonable expectation. We are not auditing the vendor's books at this point. Our audit is of recreation
Okay.
and marinas.
All right, thank you. Any other, I'm gonna close questions now unless any other colleagues have any other questions. Is there anyone from the public here that wishes to speak on this topic? Yes, you can step up, please. Is there anyone else here besides this gentleman? No? Okay. Sir, you have 2 minutes. Oh, you were here too? Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Terry Harvey. I've been a boater at Harbor Hill / Riverside Marina for 14 years now. And I have seen the improvement over the last couple of years since ABC has taken it over. They do keep the grass up there's some good customer service days, and I just love being there. And I'm just a good customer service person, and I would be honest with you and tell you that if I didn't feel that they were running the marina right, I wouldn't be there. So I appreciate ABC for running the marina, my home.
Thank you. Sir, do you want to step up, please? You can state your name too, please.
Yes, Cass Hawkins, how are you all today?
Good.
Good. I've been voting for over 20 years. Voter at Riverside, I voted over at Kings, Greyhaven. I've been around a lot of areas. I recently left, maybe about 3-4 years ago, over from, I think it was Harbor Hill, and now I'm currently back over at Riverside Marina. I have seen a tremendous improvement from past owners or whoever ran the business. Nobody has been in the forefront like ABC. They're there. They actually want to make it a friendly place for families and things like that. So they're there. They're there to answer questions. You know, in the past, you have somebody, you can't never find an owner, you can't find or get anything done. So I can say their management there are really well diverse, and they're working with us, and I think it's going to be a great marina.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, please step up. Any other people here today for the discussion? Yes, sir, if you can follow behind her in a seat here.
Hello, my name is Wanda Boone, and I'm a resident, a voter at Irma Henderson Marina. I was here in 2012 rallying for the support to open Irma Henderson Marina. And we opened it, and we took care of the marina. I worked security once a week from 7 o'clock to 1 a.m., picked up paper, did what I could, and we opened Irma Henderson Marina. Now, I am here to support Irma Henderson and it staying open, continuing to ABC to operate Irma Henderson. I am a lady captain, not by choice. My captain passed away, and I've been a voter for 19 years. Security goes by every 5 minutes or so. I am very secure in spending the night on my boat alone sometimes or whenever. And I know that Irma Henderson takes care of business. I feel very safe and secure, and they are very businesslike, and they maintain, and I am so very happy to be a resident and voter at Irma Henderson Marina. Thank you, ABC.
Good. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Robert Howard. I'm also a voter at Irma Henderson, and I'm echoing what she just said. ABC is taking care of business. If you have a concern, you can bring it up to them. They will address it in short order. We also had a little, what we call a ship sip at Irma Henderson, and they provided security, and for the elderly, they provided some mobility. They kept the facility clean. Everything is just up to par. And I also hope that they are able to get an extension so that they can continue on with their repairs.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Andre Melton. I've been a voter for 15 years. And the past 2 voting seasons, I've been at Irma Henderson. And I am very well pleased with the actions that's going on at both marinas. It's a very, very welcome family environment, and I choose to be there next season.
All right. Thank you, sir. Yes.
Good afternoon. I'm Steve Coleman. I was one of the original Friends of Irma Henderson, and in partnership with the city, ran the marina for 1 season. I had some concerns. When we first started out on this venture, we were trying to get the marina as well as ABC. Since they have won the bid, I have no concerns. They're doing a great job. Some of my concerns have been addressed, and I think they're doing a fine job. They are very professional, very businesslike. No problems, no concerns. A vast improvement.
All right, thank you. Anyone else here for public comment on this topic?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Cerise Rustin Townsell. My husband, Captain Dan Townsell, and I have been in boating for over 30 years. We have docked our boat both at Irma Henderson and Riverside. Currently, we reside at Riverside Marina. We find it to be very clean, well-maintained. The staff is very attentive to our needs. We enjoy the family-oriented events. We celebrate a strong camaraderie at Riverside and Irma Henderson. We are family. Of all the marinas in the Metro Detroit area, Riverside is our absolute favorite. It is our desire to remain at Riverside where happy memories are made by ABC. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else here for public comment? All right, that closes public comment, and I want to thank you all for being here. It seems like you all have tons of support from the community, and I just think it's important to have this conversation just to kind of hear, both sides. We have here accomplishments, things that you all have done. Maybe in the future, if you could start submitting some of this to council or at least to this body so that we can have it in the future and kind of monitoring some of the upgrades and things that you all are doing. Sure. I think that would be great. And I think it's overall about just having an enjoyable experience for all boaters here in the city. So thank you for being here. Is there any other comments that you all have? No?
Thank you for that.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. How do I do it? Colleagues, may I have a motion to receive and file the information that was received from line item number 1, please? Thank you. All right. Ms. Williams, if you can please join us at the table, please. Good afternoon, Ms. Williams.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
I know you have an event coming up. You are a part of a nonprofit who your mission is to fight hunger here in the city of Detroit, and I want to give you an opportunity to speak on what you all are doing in the community and how people can help.
Okay. All right, I'm going to start out with a little history about our pantry. The pantry was started around 2002, and it was with 2 church members of 12th Street Missionary Baptist Church. They noticed a need in the community, and they actually just started providing food to individuals on an ongoing basis out of pocket. The process actually has evolved into what today is called the 12th Street Food Pantry. We have approximately 20 to 25 volunteers who are consistent. There is no pay for any of our volunteers. They're all doing this out of their hearts. The pantry right now is providing food, which is actually a tall kitchen bag full of food to approximately 800 households per month in the area. Anyone that needs food and comes to the pantry gets food. If we have to make up special bags for individuals, we will do that because we have had homeless individuals come through who do not have the facilities for cooking or keeping foods. So we make bags special for those individuals. The pantry, in trying to keep up funding for this, has had grants in the past from the government, FEMA in particular. That particular grant was discontinued this year due to cutbacks with the federal government. Our other sources of income have been fundraisers, which we have done from banquets to talk phone-a-thons, and this year, the Roll and Stroll. This is the first time that we ventured out for such an event as this. The event is going to be held September the 27th at Palmer Park here in Detroit. We are working closely with the people for Palmer Park and actually developing the plans. The intent was to try and get at least 300 to 400 people to attend this event. Right now, we're behind with those numbers. We are really in need of help in getting the word out about the event. The event is going to be biking and walking through the park, 2 separate paths, which would be starting at the same time. The event will run from 10 to 2 o'clock. There will be Tai Chi, yoga, bidwiss, group hustle, and a number of other events taking place. It is a family event. There will be no alcohol, there will be no selling. The event is really a event to raise funds to keep the pantry going so that we're able to purchase the supplies we need and mainly repair the roof on the building. The roof on the building right now is in major need of repair, and it is a very expensive repair. So that is the intent of this fundraiser, get monies to do that.
Okay, and council recently approved your event, which will be coming up, so looking forward to that event. And if people want to contact you, your organization, to get more information, to volunteer, can you give out that information?
Yes, as that goes, I do have flyers with me, but let me just take a flyer out so I can read the information. The 12th Street Food Pantry has a website, which is 12th Street Food Pantry, all lowercase, spelt out, one word, .org. Okay?
And is there a number?
Well, I'm going to give an email address, which is the same thing, 12th Street Food Pantry, small case, one word, and that is at Comcast.net. And the phone number is 313-868-2659.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you for coming today and looking forward to your event.
All right.
And thank you for taking the lead and fighting hunger here in the city of Detroit, which is a huge, huge issue.
It is, it truly is,
It
and
really
it's
is.
one that is a very growing need
It is.
in the city
More than
right
people
now.
know. Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, thank you, Ms. Williams,
All
for
right,
joining us.
thank you.
That is the end of that discussion, line item, letter E. We're now moving to unfinished business, line item number 3. Petition number 281, request to hold Tour de Trois at Roosevelt Park on September 20th, 2014, from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. May I have a motion to discuss? New business, that was under new business. May I have a motion to discuss, colleagues?
So moved.
Thank you. Ms. Mobley.
Through the chair, I have received the approved report for this event, and so if the committee would move it to formal for new business for approval, that would be great.
All right, motion to move to new business, formal?
So moved.
There being no objections, that motion stands approved. Line item number 4, this is to extend the grant agreement with the state of Michigan, Department of Natural Resources Trust Fund grant to, for improvements at the Ball Duck Park in-town youth camp. May I have a motion to discuss? I think the rec department, Ms. Minter, left. She just left. This is really just an extension of the grant agreement for a time period of 6 months so that they can continue to install and make improvements to the park. I know this is in Councilmember Spivey's district.
Yes, it is.
Yep, so I don't know if you have any questions. I think it's pretty straightforward. It's just extending the time in appropriation so that they can continue improvements. Any question from colleagues? No? All right, if there's no questions, motion to move this to formal and approve.
So moved.
That motion stands approved. All right, we are at the end of our line items. Is anyone here for public comment? Mr. Barrow.
That's right.
1 second, please. Ms. Mobley.
Through the chair, can we also move line item number 4 to new business? I'm not sure how time sensitive that might be.
So moved.
Okay, there being no objections, that motion stands approved. Mr. Barrow, you have 2 minutes for public comment.
First of all, you guys haven't set up a meeting with me with corporate counsel yet. I have no date, no time. Also, you talking about 30 days. What is the 30 days for? You know, I have the foggiest idea everything is put off for 30 days. To me, that's just like passing the buck, because we'll be shut down in 30 days. And I want you guys to pass a continuing resolution, which is like a law, an ordinance, stating that as long as we do this on private property, that the city and the police will not interfere with what we're doing, as long as everything we're doing is legit, and it is legit. Like I say, I heard what this woman had to say, but yet still, unless you sit there and tell exactly where these violations occur, that's just like blowing smoke. And that's where I'm at. You didn't give me nothing definitive. Corporate counsel never gave me definitive as to when we meet. And just like this woman sit there said, when you said, use the word event, and now she calling it some type of Bristol or something, this is something they done pull out their butt. You know, I don't know why all of this, we have to go through all of this here when it's unnecessary. And the bottom line is, you have never said, neither has corporate counsel ever answered the question, am I allowed to do what I'm doing on private property? That's my comment.
Thank you, Mr. Barrow. And when I say 30 days, as I mentioned before, 30 days to bring it back to review and see what's going on. We're still working on what's going on with their event, but we're still working on it. I just talked to Corporation Counsel today. They have a staff assigned to this issue and looking into it. So I will talk with you after this session, okay? Yes.
So, Mr. Barrow, if you may. So the challenge that we have is that we as the legislative body, you know, we can come up with all kind of laws and things, but it's all about also being able to make sure that you don't put something out there that's not doable by the enforcement entities. Now, when it came down to, and this is something that's going to be discussed, but you came back, so that's the only reason I'm saying this. If there are some tickets that violators are receiving outside of your property, I don't think you should be, me personally, I don't think you should be held liable for that. But in fact, if they are on your property, then you should, you then at that point, and that is not for a rebuttal, I just want to make sure you heard what I said clearly, that you should bear the responsibility of those violations that are taking place on your property. If it's determined, and I think that's what the chair is saying, we've got to, really sift through what is what, because we came down prior to the recess, and we were under the impression that there were a number of violations, only to find out that there were none that were actually issued. There were verbal warnings and warnings of other nature, but there were no actual citations. Now we're actually hearing that there's actually a citation, at least one is being said at the table. You said there were 6. We can't just come up with something here at the table. That's why we've got to go back and deliberate, to the chair's credit. So, sometimes it's like sausage. It's ugly when you're putting it together, but it's going to be a much better situation moving forward. And I know you've been down this road a couple of times, but it's time for us to have it done for the final time. And that's what Madam Chair is.
Let's extend it to 10 years instead of every year.
Okay.
We give away half the city for $1.
Mr. Barrow, thank you. I think he said that perfectly fine. Thank you, council member, for that. Member reports, council member Spivey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to announce the District 4 Family Fun Day this Saturday in Corrigan Park, East 1 and Alton Road, from 11 to 3. Everything is absolutely free. And come out, be with us, and we'll have a great time.
All right. Thank you. Member Tate?
No, nothing to report, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just a reminder that the City Council Community Evening Meeting is at the Charles Wright Museum this month, located in District 5 at 7 p.m. on September the 16th. Once again, that is the District 5 City Council Evening Community Meeting, September the 16th at 7 p.m. at the Charles Wright Museum. If there is no further business to come before this body,
move adjourned.
This meeting is.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay, we'll have to do it after session now. You didn't speak during public comment? I asked for public comment.
I know, but you jumped directly to.
No, several, I think two times I've asked for public comments. I'm gonna adjourn this and then we can talk, okay?